Hey everyone, I'm Ashley Ray,
Hi, I'm Bryn, and welcome to Steel City Screams.
the podcast where we talk about all things horror and rock and roll.
Guys, we have been planning this for months now.
Long time.
We have a lot of photos to share on our Instagram. We did a little shoot before this and it was so fun. We definitely need to do that again.
We do. I think
I
we had
loved
the
it.
shoot more like prepared than the podcast.
Maybe just a smidge. Um, well, I mean, yes and no. I feel like we kind of knew what we wanted to do. No, I really don't think we knew what we were doing in the first. I
we had the idea
yes, the
and we
idea
put
set.
yes.
Um, but hey, we have a good idea of what great things we want to bring for you guys to listen to and watch. Um, we're definitely throwing around Patreon ideas and whatnot. So stay tuned for all that. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Why are we here, Ashley?
Why are we here? Well,
Don't we always ask that question when we're doing anything?
Bryn so kindly was nice enough to do this with me. I had been wanting to start a podcast with a co-host because I was like, if people just listen to me talking, it's gonna be boring. They need someone else. And I was having a really hard time finding someone who would want to do it with me and who would just want to do it in general. And I kind of put it out there, and Bryn was like, hey, I'd love to do it. And it just kind of, we just started like planning out ideas, and then it's kind of, it's become this.
It has become this. And it's funny because I mean, I do have my own podcast as well, but I've always kind of thought about doing another podcast that's more horror based and like with music as well. And Ashley and I have a lot of the same common, what's the word? Likes. We like a lot of the same things, guys. Can I speak English today? We're gonna find out. Um, but I was really happy that her and I teamed up. Funny enough, her and I uh grew up in Pittsburgh, but we didn't meet each other until we ran into each other at a convention. And her and I actually went to go meet Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris because we both love them. Shout out to them. And if you haven't listened to their
Yes.
podcast, go check it out. It's called Talk Scary to Me. So funny. But we went to go meet them, and she was standing in front of me in Scout's line, and then I forget like how we started talking, but we just started chit-chatting, and I was like, she's so sweet. And I
I
love making new friends at conventions.
Yeah,
Um,
and I can't remember because I was like, hey, what's your Instagram? I think. And then
I
we
think
can follow
so.
each other.
Yeah. And unfortunately, my Instagram that I had at that time ended up being deactivated because, according to them, I was pretending to be somebody else, which makes zero sense because I've had that since I was like 14 or something, maybe even younger. But I have a new Instagram, which you'll see all of our links and stuff eventually. But I
Yeah.
digress. Fun stuff. Uh, and then we didn't really talk very much after the convention. I think literally we didn't even speak at all.
Maybe liked a few of each other's pictures, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. And funny enough, I saw the lovely Ashley again on the set of a movie called Macabre Mountain. We decided to be cute and wear our shirts together.
Yeah, and it was funny because when I got on set, because I came a day later, I think, than you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, this girl looks so familiar. I was like, I think she was the one that I met at the convention.
Yeah.
And then I really don't know how we ended up like figuring it out, but like I don't know if I asked you or how it really worked out, but we ended up figuring out that we knew each other.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, I don't really like to just stare at people,
Yeah.
but like, you know how, like you said, like somebody looks familiar, and you kind of just like you're kind of just like looking at them, and you're like, I really don't know if I should say something, but so I'm just gonna like kind of keep staring as if like they can't tell
Yes.
I'm staring or something like that. And then eventually you did come up to me and you were like, "You look so familiar." And then I forget how the whole conversation went. I just know that we put two and two together and I was like, this is so weird. It's such a small world. It really is a small world
You
anymore.
know what? I think I said I was the girl with the stuffed animal dog who had the Michael Myers mask on.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's what you said. And I was like, oh my gosh. And your mom was on set too. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, your mom came too. Like it was so great. I remember calling I think I called my dad literally the same day. And I was like, Dad, you want to hear like some crazy shit? Like the girl we met at the convention that was standing in Scout's line in front of us. Yeah, she's working on this movie with me. I really stick to saying like it is a small world. It really
hmm
is. You never know if you're going to run into people again and in what way you're going to run into them, if that makes sense. But
No, I
it's cool.
agree. And it was nice for me because I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know too many people on set. So I was like, ah, I kind of have someone that I know. And so I'm so happy that you were there.
Me too, girl. Me too. It was really a fun time. Like the one thing that I really loved about that set was the fact that, we were together for like 2 weeks and we were a unit. Like it honestly, like I consider everybody family at this point, which
Same.
I mean, that doesn't happen very often. And sets can be very stressful and hectic because you're running around doing 50,000 things. And um, I was an assistant director on that movie, and I also played a small part, the character of Lily on that film. And, it was just a lot of great things that happened for both of us. I mean, we
Yeah.
made wonderful connections
hmm
and worked with some incredible friggin' people, which I hope we get to have on soon here.
Yes,
We're
we would
trying to
love to
plan that out.
introduce you to some. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that because you had two parts on being assistant director and as an actrice. And let's talk a little bit about that, and I'll talk a little bit about mine.
Yeah. So, funny enough, so there was somebody casted in the part for Lily, and I was supposed to play another part, but I don't want to. I'm trying not to also give too much away,
Right, right.
obviously. Um, but let's just leave it at I was supposed to do another part. Um, and the girl that was casted in it, I can't remember, literally, I can't remember what happened with her. But then, the director and another assistant director, we were all like sitting down, like trying to figure everything out. Because on top of, doing that part, again, I was assistant directing and I had to help with scheduling, making sure all of our actors were taken care of, everybody got their call sheets, all that jazz.
You were great with the scheduling, by the way. Anytime I
Thank
had a
you.
question, I was like texting you, and you were so quick to get back to me. And
I really, really appreciate that because, I've done assistant directing on other films and whatnot, but I've never had to actually make the schedule. So that was my first time actually sitting down with the director and like the crew and being like, okay, this
okay.
is this is the scene we're doing on this day at this time and this place. And it wasn't hard at all. I loved, the oh goodness, the platform, I guess is the right word, that we used. And of course, I can't remember what the friggin' platform name is, but it was
I can't either.
incredibly easy and wonderful to use. Definitely something that I'm going to use in the future when I start directing myself. Uh, but I already had the tools going on to that set, so it was really easy, and of course I'm sure extra helpful for the rest of the crew because I had prior experience. And getting that part, like we were kind of jumbling around and I was literally like, listen, if someone needs casted in this role, I'll take it. I don't care. I just need to know so I can memorize my lines and make sure everything else is still on point, as again, I'm the one of the assistant directors. So I ended up getting it, and it was an interesting little part. I'm still kind of beating myself up over it though, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of actors like tend to like they'll watch their work, but they're like, oh damn, like I should have done this instead or said it this way instead. And that's kind of what I do, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm learning to like let that shit go because it's like, you got that part for a reason, like it didn't just happen for no reason kind of thing. So, you know, you live and you learn. Not every performance is going to be perfect. So you just kind of gotta be like, I did it and I did it the
Mm-hmm.
best I could that day. And that's where it's at. Next time, you'll be golden. You just gotta
Yeah.
have that, um confidence in yourself. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really key um for anybody else that wants to act, Don't beat yourself up too much. No one's perfect. So just keep working and training and believe me, you'll excel. You will excel, believe me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this was pretty much my first time, I'd say, really acting. I mean, I've done acting in different, like, smaller things, nothing that, that I'm gonna be like, ah, I want to show everybody this, like that,
Mhm.
and just like smaller things. But I was always used to being like behind the camera. I was a behind the scenes producer on a music video, just different assistant work. And so this was my first time really acting, and I played Shelby, and she is a podcaster, funny enough.
Funny enough.
And but it was kind of scary because there was like I had some scenes where there was long lines, and I was like, oh gosh, like what if I like fumble on these words? And I mean, a few times I did, and we had to retake it, but luckily everybody was really supportive. But I'm kind of the same way, like even because I did gymnastics most of my life, and I'd watch back my performances and I'd be like, oh, my legs should have been straighter, my toes should have been pointed, stuff like that. So it's very, I feel like most performers go through that no matter what it is. And
Absolutely.
but I mean, I absolutely loved acting and I would love to do more of it, hopefully, in the future. But I would also love to do directing and writing and all that stuff. So, but it's just cool. I think we made a great little family on Macabre Mountain, and we'll definitely be having, more.
I'm sorry. Let me mute for 2 seconds.
Bryn
Brought
and
to
her
you
dog.
by my roommate's dog, Jacoby. Well, I call him Jacoby as a joke,
Jacoby.
but his name is Jake. He's a sweet boy,
Jake.
but he is a
We love
barker.
Jake.
He is very much a barker.
We love Jake.
We do love Jake. He's such a sweetheart. But I'm so sorry, as you were saying, Ash.
Yeah, well, so since the movie will be, coming out towards the fall or in the fall, so hopefully we'll be able to bring in more guests from the movie to be able to talk about it a little more. And of course, once it comes out, we'll definitely talk about it a little more and premiere experiences and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And because this is already news out there, the cast was Felissa Rose, who's very well known for being Angela in Sleepaway Camp. Then we have Dave Sheridan. He played Officer Doofy in Scary Movie. I think that's the first one's so damn funny. I live for it. Um, and Elsie Holt from Your Next, Hannah Fearman from Siren VHS, Dan Kearney. I mean, we had a wonderful cast. Oh, and I can't even, gosh, I can't even, blah, 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 blah. See, now I'm fumbling. Here we go. I almost forgot the lovely Robert Mukes from House
Yep.
of a Thousand Corpses. I mean, we just had such a wonderful cast and crew. We all really took care of each other. I feel like we all took care of each other. It didn't matter what part you were, where you were, like we all took care of each other. And that is just so important on a set because again, like they're very hectic and they are long days. Like a majority of the time, although like we weren't on set anymore, we were eating dinner and then we were up until like 3 o'clock in the morning doing the call sheets, and we had to be ready by 6:30, 7 o'clock to be back on set again the next morning.
Right. Yeah.
That's just how it rolls, y'all.
Yeah.
And I love it, so it never really bothers me. I'm not much of a morning person personally, but
No,
yeah.
me either, but it's so nice when you know you're going to do something that you love. It at least
Exactly.
makes it a little easier.
It does. That's honestly, it really does.
And being around, which this I was talking to the Xander, who was a big part of the film, and I was saying how great of a set this was because I've been on sets before where it just was not good, whether it was toxic or people just not getting along. And this one, I really felt like I could go to someone if I needed anything. And I was lucky enough to make some lifelong friends. So
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I agree 100%. I honestly think we can go on and on about it this episode, but we want
good.
to cover a couple other things for sure. Um, so yeah, just to kind of finalize it out, I mean, it was just an incredible set, and there are definitely people that I'm going to work with for the rest of my life, which is really amazing to say. Like, I'm only 23, so I mean, I've been on a good amount of sets at this point, and I've worked with a lot of amazing people, but to leave a set, and I can confidently say that, is very it's very cool, and it just doesn't happen very often, unfortunately, but I love that I can say that.
I, on the other hand, am a little older than Bryn. We will not say my age. Um,
You're not that old. You're
but
what, like only like 3 or 4 years older than me, ma'am?
I'm like 18.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Just
27, but I feel like I'm 18. So,
you look like you're 16.
thank you.
So nobody, if literally anybody in these comment sections says she looks 28, you're lying.
I'll cry.
I will also fight you if she cries about it.
But I actually have more experience like in the music industry.
Mhm.
So, but I had always wanted to do film and work in film, but it just, long story for another day, I ended up in more of like a music scene. And so it was Macabre Mountain was a great way to hop back into the film
Mhm.
industry for me. So, and I hope you and I get to work together more and
Absolutely.
everybody on the team and big family reunion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so the Macabre Mountain will be coming out later this year in 2023. Uh Date to be determined.
To be determined.
Um we're waiting to hear on that news, but the premiere will be coming up in the fall. I'm super excited. I'm sure Ashley is super excited.
I'm so excited.
Um but yeah, we can't wait for you guys to see this movie. Honestly, like I feel like it's going to be badass. I really do. I mean, we literally poured our sweat, blood, and tears into this and more. So I really hope once it hits the shelves and everything that everybody will go and get it and enjoy it, because we really loved making it. So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 100%.
but you did mention, you got into music a little more than film. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so and I mean I can't say I did too much. It was more sort of like volunteer work. Like I've done merch for bands. I've kind of done everything behind the scenes at concerts, whether it was just kind of like doing some assistant work, sound checks, stuff like that. And it was all really cool and I absolutely love it and I would love to do more of that as well. Plus film because I love to sing. However, I don't know if I'm good enough to be a singer.
I feel that.
So, well, we
I
could
feel
start a
that.
band. We could start a band together. If we're starting a podcast together. We might as well start a
Or
band.
band.
Yeah.
We'll have to contemplate a name, but I'm telling you right now, my singing will not be up to par.
It's
Like
okay.
there's days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I sound like Ariana Grande. Joke's on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Oh God. Oh yeah. This is why I act and I don't sing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I wish
Oh
I wish I would have learned to play an instrument because, well, I might not be good at that either, but it would have at
yeah.
least helped. It would have at least helped.
Hmm.
But yeah, so which is exciting because we're both really into music, so we're going to be talking about some music and hopefully have some guests on here that are involved in music and the music industry.
Hmm.
I think we both pretty much kind of like the same type of music.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I listen to pretty much everything for the most part, but I really love me some Rob Zombie and Slipknot and Flyleaf, and I guess you can call me an emo girl. Just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, no, I vibe with that kind of music, and I definitely can thank my dad for that as well as loving horror because he's the one who got me introduced to all that music and horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I definitely thanks JJ.
Shout out, Dad.
Yeah, he'll probably be like, "Don't call me JJ on your podcast," and I'll be like, "Well, everybody else calls you that, so that's what you're gonna get called on here."
Spe I found I kind of always listened to pop music, but
Mhm.
kind of just through YouTube is how I found Flyleaf, and then I kind of went through finding different like rock bands and metal bands, and so I kind of agree. I'll listen to anything, but
Mhm.
I do love, Flyleaf, Rob Zombie. But I wanted to ask, what do you remember the first scary movie you watched?
So that would be Halloween for the return of Michael Myers. And that's where and it's funny because I feel like I don't know if it was because I was little that it was like easier for me to watch because Danielle Harris was a young child when she was on that movie. So I really always loved that movie. And my parents always tell me this funny story. So if nobody really knows or like the movie Halloween 4, which you should,
You should.
I
You should.
must say, but if you don't, there's also a character in the movie called not called named, I should say, Rachel. So I was like 3 or 4 when I started watching horror movies. And a lot of people were always like, oh my gosh, like that's ridiculous. You're too young to be seeing that stuff. You know what? Honestly, I feel like horror is so degraded and I'm tired of hearing it. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into making a horror movie, and the story tells more than just some killer going out and killing teenagers. There's more to the story. And like, I respect if people don't like horror, but I kind of get a little agitated when people degrade it because there's more to it than people
Sure.
think or understand, kind of thing. Um, but the story that my parents would always tell me is I would like run up to them and be like, "Can we watch Rachel Michael Myers?" Because I was so little, I didn't know how to be like Halloween 4. I guess I don't know. Not that Rachel Michael Myers is any easier, I guess, but that's what I used to say. So I always kind of laugh um when they tell me these stories because I was just a baby, and
Yeah.
but I loved it. But it's funny because then like I love going to haunted houses and stuff around October and Halloween, obviously, but if I see it in person, I get more scared than I do watching a movie because it's right in
Mm-hmm.
front of my face. So
Yeah.
I wonder, like, the more I start filming horror movies, how that's going to affect me on set. Like, I know it's fake, but so is a haunted house. And, like, I don't know if I want to tell this story, but you know what? Oh, well. So I went, Ashley, you're going to piss yourself.
Am I?
You're going to piss yourself laughing because that's what happened to me. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna
love
beat
that.
myself a little. Last time I went to a haunted house, not gonna lie. I screamed so hard that I peed a little in my pants. Last
Yeah,
time I
but
was at a
they did their job. They did their job.
I literally my I went with my dad, and oh my gosh, I'm dying. I can't believe I'm telling this. I'm like turning red. But you
That's
know
okay. I
what?
have a story too.
I feel like a lot of people have had their moments, so deal with it and laugh with me, okay? Um, but yeah, we're going through the haunted house, and I forget exactly what happened. I just know I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I just felt a dribble, and I was like, my dad's like, what? And I was like, and some like one of the horror like actors in the haunted house like starts laughing. Like I think that I made them break character. I was like, oh my god, I hate but yeah.
Wow. You know what? You know what though? I bet that's not the first time they've experienced that.
Probably not. And at least it was a dribble because if I would have
That's
fully
true.
pissed
Yeah.
myself, it would have been game over for Bryn. I would have literally dug a hole in the
Oh,
ground
for
and stayed
sure.
there.
For sure.
I wouldn't
For
have been
sure.
able to leave to go to my car.
They would have had to just like pull you out.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we kind of have a similar story about both. So the first horror movie I saw, I was two,
Mhm.
and it was Halloween H2O. And
Nice.
my parents thought I was sleeping, but I was awake. And whenever spoiler alert, the movie's been out for a while, but
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis chops the Michael Myers head off, the guy who she thinks is Michael Myers.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, play it again." And my parents are like, and so my mom kept playing it again because I kept being, "Play it again, play it again." And my she said my dad was like, "I think we should stop playing it for her." And so that was my introduction to horror movies, and from there on, I just loved them. And because in the movie Halloween H2O, Jamie Lee Curtis has her hair real short. So
Hmm.
when I was like in second grade, I convinced my mom to let me to cut my hair real short because I wanted to look like Jamie Lee Curtis.
I
And
love that. Oh my gosh. See, and like it's so like it's just so funny. We were babies
yeah,
watching these movies. And like even some of the people that have made these movies, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you were so young." And I'm like, I'm completely fine.
yeah.
To be
Yeah,
fair.
actually my mom told PJ Souls about all that story
I love
about that.
that.
She was like, "Oh my goodness." She was cool about it, but it's
She
just
seems like she's so cool.
she's really
I haven't
sweet.
gotten to meet her and I really want to meet her. So, hey girlie, if you ever see this, hi. Um,
Hi.
but yeah, there's so many people like that I still want to meet and work with and everything. So it's so cool, you know, where, how do I want to phrase this? Like we were so little, we were babies, and like look at where we are now. We're like
Yeah.
meeting and working with the people we looked up to, and now they're like our friends, and it's
Yeah.
so incredible to me. I
And
just
it,
love, and I really love the horror community as a
yeah.
whole. It's a very loving, accepting, supportive community,
Hmm.
as well. And again, like I've went to, concerts, like heavy metal concerts, and there's the mosh pits and stuff happening, but people take care of each other. Like they
Yeah.
make sure
Hmm.
you're good, and if somebody
Yep.
gets hurt, like they're getting somebody to help you. And I just appreciate stuff like that because the world we live in now is kind of crazy. And I just love this community. I really do. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
happy to introduce this to the community.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited to share this with them and just get them involved with it and
Hmm.
see what comes from it because I'm so stoked. I can't wait to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, me too, girl. Me too. But yeah, it's gonna be great, guys. We have a lot that we're planning and getting ready to, have everything posted out and whatnot. We are planning on posting on Wednesdays. We
Mhm.
are still looking into either weekly or bi-weekly. But yeah, stay tuned on Wednesdays for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and we will have all of our social medias in the descriptions. So please
Mhm.
follow us. That's how you can figure out when we'll be posting, when we post,
Mhm.
get all those notifications, updates about what we're doing. And yeah,
And believe me, when we start getting into Patreon, you'll be getting exclusive behind the scenes stuff. Of course, we're still gonna, be very moderate on that until Macabre Mountain comes out or any other projects that we've done has come out. But yeah, we can't wait to continue sharing our journey and, what we love and including some of our friends along the way on some episodes.
yeah, and I'm super excited too to hopefully, if you guys are interested, do some like movie reviews. And because
Mhm.
I love to get other people's opinions on
Absolutely.
movies because sometimes I hate it and someone's like, "What do you mean?" And then we talk
Yeah.
about it and I'm like, "I see it now," you know?
Yeah, and I always try to go into things open-minded. Just to, kind of see everybody's point of view and give like a new fresh kind of story or whatnot or song a chance before I'm like, not for me kind of thing. So we also want to again keep, the fans that start coming in involved. So yeah, I know we're kind of repeating ourselves, but we're really excited to get this up and running and we hope you enjoy everything. And yeah, keep sharing, liking, commenting as we continue. And we already love you all. So,
Yes, yes, grateful for you. Thank you so much.
yeah. But we will see you guys here soon. And we are hoping to get a lovely guest coming in on our first episode, but we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you
Yes.
updated.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it a little secret for you guys as a surprise.
Yeah, it'll be really awesome to share some of the guests that we have, and I think everybody will really enjoy it.
I'm so excited, y'all. So excited. But we love you and we'll see you here very, very soon.
Keep screaming.
Mwah.